State for the win. They hand it off to Johnson. Boise State has won the tournament.
They take a downfield shot. And the catch is made. It's Ryan Williams. Still spinning free. Touchdown! The touchdown with first possession. Back in the game. And he's loose again. Edwards off and running. Welcome back, Donovan Edwards.
He's going to the corner. He's got it.
This is the Gridiron Uncensored.
All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Gridiron Uncensored. The off season is starting to wind down a little bit. We got spring ball going on, and we're going to start getting into our season previews soon. So no more breaks for us, really. It's full fire for effect at this point. And with that, we're going to start talking about some of these, hot seats coaches in 2025 who might get canned. And I don't know. You guys let us know if there's somebody that's not on our radar, because I've got a pretty decent list here of teams that might be searching.
I feel like there's a lot that could be said for just some teams. And,
and most of this feels like Power Four. I got a couple of Group of Five guys on here, but again, it's so hard to judge. And some guys that we thought would be fired last year still hanging around and are actually still on this list. So we'll get into that. We're also going to talk a little bit about Georgia, and I know it's a sensitive topic out there, but to me, there's culture problems down there in Athens. So we're going to talk about that, and then we're going to hit that mailbag, the mail call. So, gents, let's get into it. Let's talk coaching hot seats. Boys, let's spitball real quick, I guess, and see who are some like the first thoughts that come to your mind of who's probably getting fired at the end of 2020.
Norvell.
God.
I mean, he's got to have a good season this year. I would say anything less than 7 wins, I would can him. I don't think he's going to be able to do it.
I feel like if he loses the first game of the season, he's gone.
God dang.
Bye, Felicia.
Eat him out of the gate.
Bye, Felicia.
I'm just getting it out of the way.
Don't even let him get out of the off season. Just can his ass and let the assistant coaches do it.
We've been labeled haters of Florida State. It's not true.
Well, here's the thing. It's warranted. True. It is warranted.
Look, college football is better when Florida State is relevant. And right now, Florida State is not relevant, and because they had an atrocious season last year. The only relevance they have is to shit talk them.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's just the fact. And
do better.
Norvell has a chance. He's got to prove it. He went out, did some portaling, but this has got to be a huge year for him.
Look, so I'm telling you, to Blake's point, Florida State, Clemson, when they're good, college football is great. When Alabama, Auburn, and like Georgia are all playing good, college football is going to be fun to watch.
Yeah,
mainly because the college football playoff is the way it is now. So, like, if all those teams are beating up on each other and they're all having great seasons, Michigan, Ohio State, Oregon, all rocking it. I mean, I hate to say it, but if USC is having a great season, that's good for college football.
Yeah.
So, speaking of USC, that's another one. I think Lincoln Riley.
Absolutely.
Lincoln Riley's got to have a good year.
Segue it in. You look at his record, and even with Caleb Williams, like he was fine in the last season for him, it just fell off. Even with Caleb Williams there, 8-5 year, they fired the defensive coordinator. They're trying to, all right, now we got a good one. I thought it was a good hire, but still they just fell off again. It wasn't impressive.
Yeah.
They've got to do something, right?
We're in an era of college football when you have a coach like Lincoln Riley, Brian Kelly, and these are just some of the names. I'm just going to name some of them because it all ties into my point. Brent Venables, Hugh Freeze, Brian Kelly. You're not going to get 4 and 5 seasons because you're coming from big name programs with expectations of competing for national championship quickly. And you're not going to get at Oklahoma with the resources you have, and like at LSU, you're not going to get 4 or 5 years to come in and compete for a national championship. It's going to be 2-3 seasons expectation, and that's some of the names on there. You know, Brian Kelly, I think he's on the hot seat. Hugh Freeze, and Auburn fans would probably disagree, but you know, they're delusional. But in reality, with the recruiting that Auburn has and the money that they get, I mean, they should be better, especially with Hugh Freeze's track record.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that's totally fair to say, and you're not going to have a long leash nowadays. It's just people want that instant success, and you can get that through the portal.
Yeah.
You had to be good. You had to be a good coach. You had to be strong in your foundations and recruiting.
Yeah. And despite my hate for Auburn, that's not coming from like a hater's perspective, because I will say the same thing about Kalen DeBoer this year. If we win 7 or 8 games, it's inexcusable.
Yeah, and you got to be realistic as a fan base. What are you expecting? What do you want? You know, do you want national championships? Of course, everybody wants that. Do you expect to at least contend for the playoffs? That should be a yes, for especially now that it's 12 teams. You should be like, okay, yeah, I should be in the contention. Every fan base should feel that, whether it's realistic or not, but you got to hold these people accountable, especially they're starting to ask you for more money and all that other shit. So to me, hold them accountable. Trev, anybody else stick out to you before I just kind of run down this list that I got, and we'll talk about the teams that pop up on my radar. What are you thinking?
I'm trying to think of one that really kind of stands out. I really think that Oklahoma's got to do something.
Yeah.
I agree. For sure.
I think Oklahoma's got to do something. Like, I don't think he's a bad coach. I really don't.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that the record and the expectation for Oklahoma Sooners and football in general, I think is just going to be too much for 7 and whatever record. 7-win season is not going to cut it at Oklahoma, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, let's head into, because that fits perfectly into what I was going to run down, and that's first off the state of Oklahoma. To me, both programs have issues, Venables and Gundy. So I mean, Gundy 3-9 last year with so much returning production. I mean, where do they go? What are they looking at? They got a tough schedule as well. Oregon, they got to go to Oregon in 2025 on an out of conference game. And then you play in conference, the Big 12, which has been really, slugfest. I know he's got so much history and everything there. To me, I feel like they need to expand at this point. Like, at some point, mediocrity's got to stop. Yeah. So I don't know. What do you guys feel about Oklahoma State? Is that a reasonable thing to say?
I'll tell you what, if they're any close to what they did this year, he's gone.
Yeah.
They're going to make a change.
Absolutely.
They have to.
I feel like he should have been gone within the last 10 years. I mean, they've had some phenomenal teams at Oklahoma State, and I've always felt underwhelmed with some of the teams that they've had together over the years.
I just feel like his offense is stale.
Like I agree. And he never has a defense. Yeah, he reminds me of a lot of like a Frank Beamer and a James Franklin. Like, he can get these great teams together. He just cannot seem to get over that hurdle, especially like late in the season. He always coughs up an important game.
I mean, the dude's been there since 2005, and he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10 win or more seasons. That's okay, solid. But then, like you said, it's like few and far between. You get to the 2023, they got to the Big 12 championship game and got smacked by Texas, right?
Yeah.
But then next year you come back with so much, Ollie Gordon and all this talk, and then it just flops. So to me, it's like they like you guys said, you just can't get over the hump of getting them that big win. Their best chance would have been 2021, and I believe that one was another one. They lost the Big 12 championship game.
Back in like 2009 through 2012 and 13, they had some absolute dogs on the team, like Justin Blackman, and they just could not. I mean, they'd beat Oklahoma and then turn around and lose to Iowa State by 35 or something. I mean, that's what he does. And to me, I would have wanted him gone a long time ago.
Yeah, or even just take a different coach. Like maybe just get hired somewhere else. Like I'm surprised he has not left. But
That
I mean,
mullet
I
ain't
get
going to
it.
survive anywhere else in college football. I'm just going to say it.
I agree.
Oh man. So let's talk about their neighbors in Oklahoma. Because Trevor, you mentioned them. Venables 6-7 total last year, 2-6 in conference play. They're hoping that Mateer and Arbuckle coming in from Washington State are their saviors really this season, because they have a tough schedule themselves. Looking at 2025, they got Michigan. They play Auburn early in the first couple of weeks, and then of course the rest of the Big 12 schedule, or excuse me, the SEC schedule. So I mean, they've really got to go at least 8 wins to me for him to be safe. I mean, maybe 7, but I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think he'll be okay if he gets to 7 wins, but I kind of feel like he was dealt not necessarily dealt an unfair hand, because like Kirby Smart left and went to a prestige program and was successful, but I think there was a lot of pressure. He was such a good defensive mind at Clemson, but
Yeah,
go straight into Norman, and I mean that's a big ask, and then to move directly into the SEC on top of that,
yeah,
that's a big ask for a coach,
it is.
especially coming out of the ACC.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think it's a tough one, and then like you said, going straight from that into the SEC, and
Yeah,
again having tough schedules.
right.
Again,
See,
this
Kirby
year is
had at
not going to be.
least like Kirby was familiar with the SEC,
Yeah.
and Venables is used to a weak ACC. I mean, that's just is what it is. It ain't knocking them. It's just the facts. And you go into the Big 12, and he could have had high expectations there. Probably would have been a little more successful
Mhm.
than what he was able to do this last season. But you get thrown right into the SEC. That's a big ask.
I want to know who the hell their schedule makers are, because I feel like they're
They
just
hate
getting
them.
railroaded.
They hate them.
Not only are you playing Michigan, it's in Norman at least. I'm gonna try to go to that game actually, but then
That'd be
you look
sick.
at Texas, you get South Carolina that's on the up and up. Ole Miss, which one of them are you gonna find? Tennessee, that's made the playoffs last year, and then Bama, which is still a great team, but they're testing out a new quarterback, so we'll see what happens there. LSU, it's a
Right.
tough schedule, man. This is I don't know. He's got a lot
I
riding on
mean,
this new
to start
quarterback.
the season against Auburn and Michigan, like I mean, Michigan, granted, they weren't what everyone's kind of used to them being last year,
Sure.
but I mean, they've definitely revamped. They've recruited well. They're going to be much better than what they were last year, at least at a few different positions.
I mean, if they can at least
Um,
pass the ball,
and
that's something.
and I have Auburn written on my list as a team that is going to come out of the gates firing. I feel like.
Yeah.
So I feel like both of those teams are going to give Oklahoma all they can handle and more.
Yeah, so OU better be ready fast, better be ready early. But they did get this Mateer guy coming out of Washington State. That dude was slinging it last year.
It was.
And even their coordinator, he followed him down there, and then Venables said he's going to take over defensive calling. So I mean, we'll see what happens with him. I do think this team will be better than what we saw last year for
I
Oklahoma.
do too.
How much better? I don't know. It is a tough schedule. Let's move on. We already talked about USC and Lincoln Riley, so we're heading it back out west. Justin Wilcox, California. This guy, again, last year we said he was on the list. He didn't get fired. We thought he was going to have a good year. Like there was so much potential with what they had at quarterback, and then Odd at running back, and it just did not materialize. And now you're looking at, let me see here, back-to-back bowl losses. It's rough. And now 2025 comes around. The schedule does not look horrible, but I mean, again, they're in the ACC, so it's a lot of traveling and shit like that. What do you guys think? Is he going to get canned? I could see it happening. Probably should anyway. I mean, as long as he's
I
been
would have
there.
fired him.
Yeah,
I would
he
have
should have
already
already
fired
been
him.
gone.
I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's middling. Yeah, it's worse than that to me. And I'm pulling up his coaching record real quick because I had it up, but I lost it. But I mean, he's been there since 2017, and he's had 1 8-win season. Just one bowl win.
That's not enough. Not enough.
And I know Cal has more history than that. Their fan base has got to have want a little bit more.
I have Cal written down as a team that needs to improve this year. And I have in parentheses, or everyone is going to get fired.
Yeah, I think that's putting it lightly. I mean, they're going to get sent to the next dimension. I mean, they should anyway. They did just hire a new GM, like Rivera from the NFL. Ron Rivera, you guys remember him?
Yeah, they're on that bandwagon of having like a general manager to handle all the NIL stuff, which I honestly think that should be taken off of the head coach's plate.
Yeah,
altogether. I think every single team needs to have a manager of that NIL stuff.
Yeah, I think they're moving that way. I know Michigan certainly did. I think Bama did. With was it Courtney Morgan, right? I think
Courtney Morgan.
Yeah, exactly right.
So you take it off the coach's plate, and I think that's what they're trying to do with Ron Rivera, and then you build that whole element and just let them work independently. So we'll see what happens with Cal, but they're definitely, to me, hot seat contenders. Next one, Brett Brennan, Arizona. I thought they were going to be fine with Fafita, but god dang, man, it was just really, really lackluster. 4-8. Arizona State is also they made the playoffs. They're on the up and up. So that to me immediately puts their ass on the hot seat. They've got to get something going. New conference, your rival's doing better than you are. That's got to light a fire.
Yep, I agree. I had them on my list as well.
Stanford, I feel like Stanford needs to turn the corner, but I don't think as long as Stanford. See, here's the problem with Stanford, and this is a problem going back to when Jim Harbaugh was there, is that their scheduling, not anything other than their class schedules, contradict with the college football transfers. It contradicts with just about everything that is college football. So I don't know what a college football coach can do. I mean, Jim Harbaugh did it next to a miracle with what he did with Stanford, and then the coach that followed him escapes me.
Oh wow! Hold on.
Got him.
What was his name? God dang it!
It escapes me. But anyway. He was really good. I loved his offense. He really kind of carried the torch of what Jim Harbaugh did there.
David Shaw.
Thank you, David Shaw. Thank you. I appreciate you.
Thank God for Google. But yeah, I agree. Sorry to interrupt you.
But no, I mean, Stanford is one of those ones where I feel like they're just going to churn out coach after coach after coach. Basically, what the old saying goes, like, keep doing the same thing with expecting a different result every single time. It's just they need to change something.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Stanford. I mean, it's tough to coach there, but it's a attractive program to a lot of people. It's just again the right fit. You got to have the right person. It's been proven to happen. It needs the right fit again. Next, I've got moving up north. Some of them, if you want to call it that, they're in the Big Ten, so I'm gonna call it that. But we're gonna go up to Cincinnati. Scott Satterfield, to me, that's another one. You moved from Cincinnati into the Big 12. You got to have more than what they're showing. 3-9, 5-7. There's a little bit of progress there, but to me, if he wants a safe job, if he wants to be safe in his job, they need a bowl win. They've got to get that 6th win, get a bowl win, show that they're at least continuing to climb. Because the last thing you want to do is go 5-7 again. The Cincy fan base was used to, hell, they made a playoff before so many of these other teams did. And then, now look what's going on. They're struggling. So to me, that's another guy that needs some help. I think one of you mentioned it earlier. Oh, Maryland. I think it was kind of off the cuff or off the show. But I've got Maryland as a team that really needs to show that they can take that jump with Loxley.
Yeah. He's
been there for a minute. I think other people have also mentioned that he's kind of on a hot seat, maybe a cooler hot seat. Blake, you're going to talk about hot cold. or cooler, versions. But I think he fits that mold.
That's exactly where I have them. I've got him in there. I've got Napier, Stoops, and I had Stanford in that category as well.
Yeah. It's just, to me, he's got potential, and Maryland's got potential to recruit that entire DMV area and even reach into the South, reach into the North. They're in a good spot to do things. It's just, even with, Talia Tagovailoa, like there was moments that he was really solid, and then the team would just falter around him. So I want to see what they can do this year, because to me, he's kind of teetering on that hot seat. What are the expectations for Maryland fans, actually?
Mm-hmm.
Another one, Trev, we talked about him last year. Pat Narduzzi, man. This guy, he's got to rely on Holstein. He's got to rely on Holstein.
He's not going anywhere now that he had a season like that.
Okay.
We're going to see him for another 4 years, easy.
It's fair. That's a fair comment.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, look, there's the save Narduzzi. Like the whole chant, save Narduzzi. I swear, saved him.
I think they've got a really nice team.
They do. They have a solid team, and I really think. I mean, they are not. I don't know if they are upper echelon, but they're close. They could easily be up there if they have a season.
Hell, like you said, last year was. I mean, they were rolling, and then they looked really hard to beat. And then I think Holstein got injured. Then he starts to fall apart, slow down, and that happens with these teams. Wisconsin, somebody we'll talk about soon. Injuries, how does that play into the coaching hot seat? Do they give them more, leeway? Holstein coming back is huge for this program. But if they can't, get over that 7-game hump again, I don't know. Maybe they can them. I probably would consider it.
I think Narduzzi's good. I think Narduzzi. They're just gonna keep hoping that they catch lightning in a bottle. Probably. Every time they're about to fire his ass.
This is our year. Every year. It's our time. Oh Lord. All right. Well, I just mentioned him. Luke Fickell. That's another guy. Even though they just extended this man, I think they see like he's trying. I mean, he's doing everything that he can, recruiting wise, portal wise, whatever, to get them on the right track. But goddamn, you look at their schedules too. They just get railroaded as well. When it comes to scheduling. So, I mean, you got Bama, Michigan, Iowa, Ohio State, Oregon, Washington, Illinois, which is also going to be a solid team again this year.
That's rough.
So, I mean, God, like, what do you expect from Fickell? I guess they signed the contract, so he's going to stay around, right? Like, I don't know, but unless he goes like free and.
Well, I think that's he's in like that Venables situation. He had so much success at Cincinnati, or Cincinnati, as the retards say. But he had such good success there that he's kind of got like an unfair expectation at Wisconsin, because it's not easy to just walk into the Big Ten and do what you did at Cincinnati.
Right. I mean,
Luke, I'm telling you, I really think that you give him one more year, he'll get Wisconsin back.
I mean,
I think he will too. I like him.
Yeah,
I think he's a great
got
coach.
Potential to do what he needs to. But again, the schedule.
Are we saying that Luke Fickell is on the hot seat already?
I think it's definitely hot. I think people are frustrated. Rightfully so.
I mean, it's Wisconsin, folks. Come on.
Hey man,
I mean,
they want more. They want more.
Y'all have been the ugly stepchild to Michigan State, not let alone to Ohio State and Michigan, and now Oregon. You guys are on the level of USC. Like, let's curb some expectations here.
Now listen. Wisconsin was running the Big Ten West. Okay, when we had the division still.
So they had to play one team. They have to play one team until the Big Ten title.
They were running, so they're used to that.
Yeah, they ran it until they got ran.
Yeah, by anybody in the Big Ten East.
Yeah, pretty much.
But yeah, I mean, they have expectations. I get it. Like they want to be that upper echelon Big Ten team, and I think they can be. They should be. But again, the schedule just, god dang, man, it's not pretty. So maybe if you don't care, I'm gonna look at 2026 for them real quick and see what they have out of conference. Pitt, Notre Dame. So I mean, yeah, Western Illinois. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe 2026 is the year of the fickle. We'll see. Let's jump on a guy. I just want to bring him up. Group of five type. Kenny Burns from Kent State.
Yeah.
These poor bastards, man. I mean, 1-11, 0-12. I know it's Kent State, but I mean, still, you got to have more than that. Like, your fans have got to at least want 3 damn wins. Like, can you get to that point? Show some improvement, because you're still a Division I FBS football coach. You got to find more than one.
What do you think about Matt Rule at Nebraska?
I don't think he's on the hot seat.
He's not on the hot seat because he has the quarterback. If that quarterback leaves for any reason whatsoever, he's on the hot seat immediately.
To me, I don't think he's like scalding hot, but I know the fans are frustrated at Nebraska.
They have another top 20 recruiting class coming in this year. So, I mean, like, you got to start doing something with this talent that you got going on.
Exactly. Since Bo Pelini, it has just been, a shit show.
And it really has.
They were a historic program. I'm sure there's some frustration within the fan base. I mean, I agree, though, like, he needs some time, and I think they've got the right guy at quarterback. But I think it's like the Auburn situation. Like, you want to win now, and
they've been hungry for it. That's they're a hungry blue blood, and they want their stuff now. 2023, I mean, they were 5-7. 2024, you get 7-6. I mean, so there's some progression there. You look at this year, really out of conference. You got Cincinnati early, a team that we just mentioned has a coach that's on the hot seat. And you play Akron and the HCU Huskies. I don't even know, how they're getting away with that one. But then you play, Michigan, bye-week Michigan State, and then you're into the heart of the rest of the Big Ten.
Yeah. If he does not go 500, say he doesn't win 7 games, what do you think happens with him?
With the talent they have, I think they might can him, to be honest with you. I feel like they got to have more. It's really not a horrible schedule. They don't play Ohio State. They play Maryland, Minnesota, Northwestern, USC, UCLA, and then Penn State and Iowa late the last 2 weeks of the season. So there's potential there to at least get 7, in my opinion. You got to at least get a bowl win. You've got to go, 7 wins, get a bowl game. Good question though. That's an interesting team. Let's head south. You mentioned Mark Stoops in Kentucky, kind of in that cool area. I've got him hot just because, to me, it's the definition of middling. I mean, just the full on. He almost left for Texas A&M and then goes 4-8. I don't know, man. I don't know.
He's in that Gundy zone. Like, he's just been there, but he's had talent. He just doesn't ever seem. He'll have an off, one off where he goes. I think they had a 10-win season here and there. They've had some good players, on the roster in Kentucky, but just never seem to, put it to the field.
So looking at Mark Stoops, when I think it was like the first 6 years or 5 years they didn't have one, and then the 6th year he had a 10-win season, and then it was like 2 years of 8-5 or 8-4, 7-5, something like that, and then they had a 10-win, and then now it's like 3 straight years of like 7-6, 8, 6-6, whatever. So maybe they're due for one. Maybe this year that he figures it out again, it comes in a long way.
If he hits 10 wins this season, he'll be there forever.
Oh yeah. Oh, that'd probably be a playoff, spot on the line for them if they're at 10
last
wins.
year they had a solid defense, but it was very hot and cold.
Yeah.
They would hold Georgia, but then get smoked by Vanderbilt. Yeah. And then what's his name? Quarterback Leary.
Leary
Vandegrift. Well, both of them. Just so inconsistent, and he had the opportunity to put the Georgia game away.
Yeah,
and just couldn't do it.
I know he's got to lose sleep over that one. We'll move it again. Hugh Freeze, you mentioned them with Auburn, 6-7, 5-7, hasn't beaten Bama yet. They had a chance in the first year, but blew that one. It was great pass and catch, from somebody that you don't like, but played with Milrow, but still they won the Iron Bowl. And then, Bama's in that transition period still. If you're Auburn, you don't want to get left behind again. This rivalry's already getting out of hand, so you want to be able to bring it back to, the 2000s where you were winning the 6 in a row. So how do they get back there? I don't know if Hugh Freeze is the guy to do it. They've got talent. They've got loaded rosters, really. So it's just can they get over that hump with them? I don't know.
I have input on it, but I'm not going to say it.
Well, hold on now.
That's not what Uncensored's all about.
All right, well, we'll go there then. I think what's destroying Auburn is OnlyFans.
OnlyFans?
OnlyFans. That's what's killing Auburn. Hugh Freeze. Well, the thing is these kids, they don't care about hookers anymore because for 99 cents. Well, think back to the Ole Miss days. That's how Hugh Freeze got all these guys to come down and play for Ole Miss, was hookers, prostitutes. Now they can get them for $1.50 on OnlyFans. Yeah. They don't care.
Laquan Treadwell shared a picture of it with a stack of money and whatever.
It was real.
It's not, and a chick, it's not. This is not a fake, fake news thing. There's reasons a couple of these teams, came up for a couple of years and then have faded away. It's not because they're a recruiting hotbed and have great, academics and all these other things. There's other ulterior reasons. So yeah, Hugh Freeze got to figure something out. Brian Kelly, is he on the hot list, a hot seat?
I'll say yes.
I think he is, because you bring him in to win national champions and bring him in to, at least get to the damn playoffs. They haven't done that.
LSU should be every year that name of that school should be somewhere around the word playoff. Mm-hmm. And when you got rid of a national championship winning coach and Ed Orgeron, I know he had, he won a national championship and had a Heisman Trophy winner. What more can you ask of somebody? And they can him and bring in a guy who wins 8, 9.
And does fake Southern accents, Yeah.
It's that, and slams his hands on the table. Is that what we want?
The purple people eater, man. Trev, what do you think about Brian Kelly? Is he on the hot seat? I take that as a yes.
I know how he feels about Brian Kelly because
everybody should know how I feel about Brian Kelly at this point. However,
for any new listeners,
to hell with that guy. To hell with that guy and his fake ass, stupid ass reactions.
I agree.
That guy, he's such a fake mother. Sorry, he's fake.
No, hey, if you have hate in your heart, let it out. That's what Clayton Bigsby says anyway.
He's such a fake piece of shit. Seriously, he is a fake piece of shit. He didn't deserve the Notre Dame job. And then he goes to freaking LSU, and then he looks even faker. He looks like he has a fake tan. He looks like he's constantly sweating or whatever. He's glistening.
It is hot.
The damn guy's glistening when it's 50 degrees outside.
It's the humidity. It's not the heat.
Oh my God.
I don't know. Multiple 9 to 10 win seasons. He just can't get there.
I don't like the guy. I think he's a trash coach. He has a very vanilla way of calling it, and he doesn't even let loose his offensive coordinators to do what they are there to do. He always holds back the reins on everything. He did it at Notre Dame. He's doing it at LSU.
They had Jaden Daniels at quarterback. He's tearing up the NFL, and he had great offense with him, but again, you get left down by your defense and everything else in between. So, yeah, to me, I think he's on there. Maybe it's a cooler side because he still, gets some 10 wins. But to me, you got to get to the playoffs this year if you're LSU. Veteran quarterback coming back.
It's time to move on from Brian Kelly.
You have to, and we'll see.
If they don't win 10 games, it's over for them. It should be, at least. It should be.
Send them packing.
It really should be.
I'll call Ed O back. At least he's a culture fit. I love listening to that man talk, man. Go Tigers. All right, Sam Pittman. Next one, I think he was on it last year. He bought some grace, in my opinion. Getting him at that 7th win. I think they want a bowl as well. Is he still on the hot seat to you?
My thing with him is,
cool,
I think he is a good coach.
Yeah.
They get plagued with injuries. They get, KJ Jefferson, Taylor Green. I mean, they've got talent there, and he knows how to win. I mean, he's won games. I mean, he beat Tennessee last year.
Yeah.
And it's one of those situations where they lose a key player at a pivotal moment in the season, and then he loses a couple of games.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd say he's on the cooler side as well.
Yeah. I don't think he's all the way there yet.
I think they're going to have a good season this year, though.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think he fits the area well too. I think fans genuinely like the man.
I do too.
I would agree with that.
So
I think,
yeah. So I mean, we'll see where they go. The schedule's kind of rough. Looking at it, Ole Miss. So you start off with Arkansas State, Ole Miss, Memphis, Notre Dame. After Notre Dame, you have a bye week. Then it's Tennessee, Texas A&M, Auburn, and then to finish out the year, you have LSU and Texas. So I mean, it's kind of tough, but they have a solid roster. I do think that. So there's potential there for at least another 7-win season. A couple more, and then we'll get on to other ones. I know we got more topics to talk about. Real quick, out of the ACC, we already covered one of them. Next, we'll talk about UVA, Tony Elliott. The wins kind of come up, but you just can't get them. I mean, I know it's Virginia. They're not, world beaters, but I feel like they should be at least, pushing a little bit more. They did bring in Chandler Morris, who had a really good year down in North Texas. So maybe he can help save Tony Elliott. The other one is same state, Virginia Tech, Brent Pry, 6-7, lost a bowl game. They had a lot of returning starters last year, and still it's just not. Yeah, it's underwhelming. Exactly. So to me, those two in the state of Virginia need to be on watch. Like that, the teams, the fan bases should at least have more expectation. I think they do, especially Virginia Tech, from where they've come from. They want more. Then the last one I had was Trent Dilfer down at UAB. And then if you guys want to jump in on any of those, the dude 4-8, 3-9. People seem to not really like the guy at all. I'm surprised he's even still there. I don't know. It's just one I saw. Dilfer, man, he might need to get canned down there in UAB.
Yeah.
Anything on those teams?
There's one other one that I do in the ACC, and that's NC State. Dave Dorian.
Oh yeah.
I think that if they have another showing like they did last year with all the hype that they were gaining in the offseason, I think that he's in trouble.
Yeah.
I think it's getting warmer. I don't think it's necessarily hot, but it's getting warmer for him.
No,
I would agree. Yeah, that's a good pick.
Yeah. I definitely agree with that. All right, well that's the hot seat talk again, guys. Anything out in the group of 5 that obviously we covered most of the Power 4, but if you see anything out there, let us know, or any coaches in the group or in the Power 4 that we missed. Try to find as many as we could. It seemed like a pretty long list. Shoot us a comment on YouTube. All right, next big one here. Recently, Georgia. They are still in the news in the offseason. It always seems to be for the wrong reason. More, players getting, pulled over, arrested, whatever, drunk driving, reckless driving, speeding, whatever you want to call it. Some downplay it, some call it what it is. I think it's a culture issue at this point. I believe that since 2023, they've had 25, incidents since 2023, and that's crazy. What do you guys think? Is it a culture issue, or is there anything that Kirby Smart can legitimately do about this? Because some people are really defending it.
I think it's one of those, anything you can do, I can do better, and they just want to prove that they can get more DUIs than any other college football program. But in reality, everything Trevor is about to scream in his microphone is echoing for me as well, because I agree with everything he's about to say. I can see it in his face.
Oh, Florida State 2.0. Here we go.
Oh man.
Oh, that bad.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
at least they're not getting
Georgia,
arrested.
you suck. Like you have a everything that you guys have accomplished has been washed away in literally an off season. Because no one talks about how good you guys are. Nobody talks about how talented you stupid people are. I swear, y'all need to grow up, and Kirby, get your shit together. I'm serious. Y'all are worse than Florida State, and that's saying something.
Damn. So culture-wise,
worse than Florida State, hands down. Now that it's out in the public, and now we know all the details, yeah, way worse than Florida State.
So it's like I made a post on Twitter about it, and it's even from the military's perspective, when you're a company commander or battalion commander, you are in charge of soldiers, right? And usually whatever happens down below comes back up. So even platoon sergeant, command sergeant major, whatever rank you want to say. To me, you can't always blame the leadership, especially when it's a couple of incidents, maybe one or two, maybe three. Like some guy goes out, Joe Snuffy gets a damn DUI, trying to get back on post. Well, I was fucking sleeping. Like, how's that my problem? Okay, but say you get 23, 24, 25 in a short span. Something else is going on here. This isn't just on the guys.
This is Coach Kirby handing them the keys after he fills them up with liquor.
It's youth, and yes, young people do stupid stuff all the time. Especially now they got more money, whatever. To me, that doesn't matter. They're still adults. If I did something, I would have been fried for it. And at least Kirby has kicked these guys off the team recently. But before you've got people being killed. They had a player killed, they had a staffer killed right after a national championship. So these are things to me. This shit has to get figured out, and they need to sit down between the administration and Kirby. They make enough money. There's enough money coming into the University of Georgia for this to not be an issue. I don't know what legally you can do if these assholes keep speeding and crashing into buildings like the last one did. Can you take their keys? I have no idea.
I think every infraction removes half of their NIL money.
Yeah, I mean
they owe it. They owe it back to whoever the donor or whatever gave it to them. They owe half of their NIL money back because they're putting their lives at risk, their careers at risk, and they were paid to come play football.
Yeah, and other people too. I mean, last thing you need is another Henry Ruggs, blowing through and killing somebody, an innocent person. Right. So to me, that's why I take it a little more serious. Like I said, if it was one or two, like one off, two off, hey, shit happens, man. People are being stupid. At this point, it's too much, and I think he deserves to be criticized for that. All right. Anything else on UGA, Blake? You feel agree with Trevor on that? Let's move on and let's hit up the last thing, the mailbag question. And this one I thought was an interesting one. Again, what team? The question is, what team do you think could go from one of the worst to the best? This year, or even can be a contender, continual, kind of like this year's 2024's Arizona State, a team that was projected to be really bad. Bad offseason, all this stuff, all these things going on, and then they come out and they go to the damn playoffs. Is there a team that you think could do that this year?
So they're coming out of the Big 12 because every other conference is too tough.
Yeah. Hey, that's fair. Blake, you want to go first? Shoot it.
Yeah, I mean, my two teams they weren't like bottom feeders last year.
Yeah.
But I don't think the expectations are very high for either of the teams. I think most people have them projected as like middle of the road teams this year, but I think Florida could surprise some people, and I think Pittsburgh could surprise some people.
Yeah, all right, I agree with those.
You've got my other teams, so
I think Florida's a contender for sure. For me, we haven't dug in yet, but looking at how they finished, I like that one, and Pitt too with the Holstein. Trev?
So I think I'm kind of in the same boat, really, but I'm going to go with Wisconsin because I'm not going to pick a Big 12 team. I refuse. That's an easy out. I'm not gonna do it.
What are you saying about me, man? Come on. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Call him out. Call him out.
I'm gonna do because I have two Big 12 teams because I think both of them could probably do well. But Wisconsin, I think maybe, and then I think Cal.
Okay.
I think that if Cal can get their butts moving in the right direction and stop being so distracted with everything, I had something better in my brain. It just didn't come out right.
I get that, man. I'm
but no, I think Wisconsin definitely. I think Cal probably, maybe. It's probably going to bite me in the ass again because I did this last season. I was really high on Cal. I really liked what they were doing in the off season, and they laid an egg. So,
Yeah.
I think they're probably going to do it to me again. But I still think that they have an opportunity to take the ACC by storm. They're probably the only West Coast team that's in the ACC that can do that. I don't think Stanford's got it. And I honestly don't think that any of the other teams in the ACC can even remotely compete at this point.
I'll say for me, I had Baylor, but I know like they finished last year solid, but 2023 they were 3-9. So like they're on that up and up trend. I don't know if you're going to see a team like Arizona State because I mean they have a good quarterback. You know, Levitt came in, the dude can sling it. You guys let us know. Throw us. Who you think who was horrible, maybe last year or the year before, and now they should be trending into that contender. I said Baylor, and then I kind of think I know I told you guys another one off air, but I like old Georgia Tech. I know Trevor, like to hear that.
I love
one.
it. Why not, man?
Yeah,
whatever.
Just the way your dynasty's been going.
Good old ATL, just screwing me over left and right. Why not?
On our college football dynasty. He's over there at Georgia Tech, and
Georgia Tech can't recruit for shit.
So hey, they got Haynes King, baby. That's what I'm hoping.
Haynes King is all they got. I'm many years
somewhere.
past Haynes King right now.
Yeah. So I don't know. Again, you guys let us know. Drop it in the comments on YouTube and let us know what you guys think. A team that can maybe surprise. But I like that question. I think that's a good one, and we'll kind of have the inverse of that on the next episode. But I thought it would be too much to put on this one. There's reasons why. All right, guys. Anything else on this episode we're calling tonight?
Not much. Thanks for watching, everybody. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and all that fun stuff. Please share it. Share it on all the socials.
Yeah.
And everything.
Yeah.
Take it easy.
Appreciate you guys. We'll see you.